Hello, good afternoon everybody. My name is Mandy Taylor and I am from Imagination Crafts. Okay, thank you all for having me back again. This week I'm going to play of another version, another textured background for you to try. So this is, I started this off as being, it's a piece of wood, piece of chip, of plywood, and I was going to drill some holes in it and make sort of a wooden encased notebook. But then I thought, if I show you this technique, I don't turn it into a notebook, then you could turn it into something else. I've actually done it now. I'll show you afterwards. I've done it now. I think, well, actually, I might varnish it and put it as a wall plaque in my garden. Because it's plywood, I'm just going to put outdoor varnish on it and I'm going to decorate the wall in my garden because it's very ugly. So that's what I'm going to try today. So today I'm working with, you know me, I work with Cadence products. I am working with Rusty Patinas, so we've got lots of texture going on there. I'm going to show you how we can layer it. We've got some foiling as well, so we've got some gilding flakes. We've got some crackle glaze as well in here. So it's all about layering up, lots and lots of layers on here. But very nice, simple project to do. There will be some drying time at one point, so I'm going to have to blast it with a hairdryer. So I'm going to apologise now for any noise. Okay. Hi Tracy. Hi Sue. How are you? Nice to see you on here. I'm just trying to get you live on here so I can read your comments because I cannot read them that small. Okay, so yes, so we're going to be playing with Rusty Patinas, crackle glaze, and a bit of old wood, basically. So I'm hoping I'll be able to read your comments, but I can't read anything about putting my glasses on. So what's that? Put my seers on. Okay. Oh, I can't see through them. You good eyesight to see through them. That dirty. Hold on. Excuse my fingernails. I have been busy prepping this, and I've been busy prepping 2 other shows as well. So. Oh, I can see you now. Okay, there you go. And I've had my roots done. At last, I've had my hair done. I've had it all chopped off. Look how short it is. Really? All chopped off. Hi, Teresa. Hi, B. So, I'm going to take you down now. Let's get cracking, okay? Quite literally, let's get cracking. So, here we go. Oops, that's not very middle, is it, for you? Right, then. Hope you can see nice and clearly. So, plywood. It's all it is. A cheap bit of plywood. I got these online. And they cut them to size for me. I don't know where I had them, but they were really easy to get to. It could be MDF, it could be construction board, anything you want to be. I'm using the wood because I'm actually going to use it outside. Okay, so I'm working with a Cadence, and these are the Rusty Patinas. So these are a high pigment paint, and they've got real metal in them, and it gives it texture. So we can do lots with them. Okay, so we're going to start first of all. So I want a nice base colour. Now we're going to use the Rusty Patina, but I'm going to use it as a paint. So I'm just going to use my sponge dauber, that's all I'm using. And I'm just going to use this now as a paint across the background. It's nice and simple. So I'm using the one product to do a couple of jobs, okay? So we're just going to give that a really good, very quick. You can see the pigment in these paints is amazing. So although we're using it as a paint, it's like a textural paint. So if you only use a thin coat of it, and you can water these down as well if you want, we can create dribbles and all sorts of brilliant product. Then all you're going to get is sort of a textured paint. Okay, so you can get this paint and it's got a sort of a gritty feel to it. So I'm just going to cover that. There we go. To make sure we cover up the sides as well. You don't want to see nice wooden sides as well there. There you go. And then we're going to very quickly blast dry that. So I apologise now for the hairdryer, but I also use a hairdryer in cool setting. I find it dries things much better and doesn't affect my paint. Spare me 2 seconds. There we go, that's dry. Next bit, right, what I'm going to use next, I'm going to use some gilding flakes. And I think we've all got these at some point in our lives, in our crafting stash. And I've had them for years because they just go on and on, don't they? But this bit, they were bigger flakes. These are all the sort of leftover bits. So I'm going to use this on here. So I'm going to use my, make sure I don't spill it. I did spill it earlier on. It was everywhere. So I'm using these like gilding flakes. And what I'm also going to use, I'm using something called metal leaf fixion. But if you've got a gilding glue, same sort of thing. Okay, so I'm just using this. Again, this is from Cadence. I use this a lot. I love this product. So I'm just going to pop a bit on my desk because I've left nowhere to... I'll wipe it up afterwards. I'm not going to worry about that. And I've got a bit of cut and use foam, but you could use an ink blender tool. You could use a brush for this. And I'm just taking I'm sorry it's off camera, but I'm just taking some of it on my sponge, but I'm going to make sure it's pushed into my sponge. Okay, I don't want loads and loads of it. And all I'm going to do then is just in areas where I want to put some gold foil. I'm being quite random about this because really it's just the background. It's only going to add a little bit of colour in the background, but I love putting foil and flakes in the background, I think. I really think it sort of gives that little lift. And again, it's another layer. So we're now on our second layer of this project, okay? So I'm going to get that quick blast dry. I'm moving my foil flakes out the way because that's what I did earlier on. Didn't actually spill them, I blew them everywhere. You want to make sure your glue is transparent. Okay. Go. Just wipe the glue off my fingers. That's silly, I wouldn't put my finger in the glue. So you can see now we've got sort of transparent now. So we're going to use our gilding flakes and make sure my hands are dry for this. You'll see me covering all sorts with this project. So I'm just taking my gilding flakes now because I've got damp hands. So use dry hands when you go into. I'm just going over where I've put the glue. So again, this is just a layer. So this is layer 2. Okay. I always like working in layers. I think it's easy to describe them whichever layer we're on. Okay, so we're just popping that on. I'm pressing it down. See, there's no logic to this. It's just wherever you want it. Okay, and then I'm just going to rub off the excess. There we go. Because this is all my leftover piece. This is. I wouldn't put all this dust back in if I had large foiling flakes. So I always have 2 separate tubs. I have one for my large foiling flakes if I don't have the sheets, and I keep all this again in a separate one because it's good for texture in your mixed media. It really is. But they go a bit duller when you start using them like this. They give you goes quite dull if you're using it as your foiling. So if you want real brightness, then use the whole sheets. Or right, I'm just going to wipe that to one side and go all around the mess I made earlier on. So you can see now, so we've got that on there, brushed off all the excess. So that's our layer 2. You think it looks all right, dog's dinner at the moment, but just bear with me. Okay, bear with, you'll be fine. So I'm going to pop the lid back on those because I don't want them going everywhere. Okay. Next layer is we're going to add some crackle. Now I'm using a 1-step crackle from Cadence. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that on. So right, next bit I have dried for you, so you haven't got to wait around. Okay. So all you're going to do next, we'll dust it off a bit better. If you've got one of those little bit of a kitchen sponge, little of those non-scratch pads, they're great for this. So I'm just popping the crackle over all my surface. Now it's not going to get a full crackle with this, but what happens is sometimes you'll get a beautiful crackle. We're not putting our rusty patina on very thick, but it'll crack. You get little tiny crackles in the rusty patina, which if you want to, you can add in an antiquing paint, or you can add in an oil-based paint to get those crackles really formed, to really show them up. Okay, so you're going to get that all over. Again, the thicker the thicker you put it on, the more crackle you're going to get. Then you're just going to let that dry. Okay, just a 1-step one. I'm going to let that dry. So I'm going to pop that to one side and let that dry. I've already got one ready for you. Let me just mop that up a little bit because it gets sticky. Okay, so if I bring in this one now, this is the one I've done earlier, ready for you. Okay, so we've got our face coat paint on, we've got our gilding glue, or I've got my metal leaf mix in there, and then we put the flakes on, and then I put in a layer of my crackle, and now it's dry, and you can see the crackle. It's got a slight, it's still got a shine, it's got a shine to it once it's done before we put any other layers on. Okay, so next bit we're going to start adding some of our rusty patinas. So we're going to use a palette knife for this. Okay, because we want to create lots of layers on this. Okay, so what I'm going to start off with first, I've got this gorgeous colour. Can you see about now? I blew my flakes everywhere. It's everywhere. Don't do what I do. Yeah, do as I say, don't do as I do. So this lovely, gorgeous colour here, this is the patina green. And we're also going to be using the mould green, okay, like a duck egg colour. And I will be using, afterwards, we'll be using the white as well. If you've got ecru, if you've got cream as well, you could use that, okay. You could use, if you haven't got that, you could use an acrylic paint for that end stage. But I like to use that because it's still got that texture on it. So, got a palette knife now. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to start off with a darker colour. And we're just going to put our palette knife in. Okay, and this is where you can create and have fun, okay? Really is the way you have it. Palette knife, and all I'm going to do then is I'm going to draw it down here. We don't want it big, thick layers. I want it to catch here and there. And I don't want to put any more of the patina on my knife until I've got what I've got off on the back, okay? So you can see then, by dragging that down, you're creating a layer. So I'm going to put a little bit more in. I only like to take a little bit of time. Depends how thick layers you want. I don't want too many thick layers on this because obviously drying time and you're going to have to wait for me to dry it. Okay. So I like little bits at a time. But you can see I'm not putting pressure on my knife. I'm just dragging this down. Now if you wanted to, you could do this with a structure paste, yeah, or a texture paste. I'm just doing because I love this because I've got all the colours, you know, going around. So we go in over our piece. Because remember, this foiling is only for a background, so we will be covering some of it up and have little highlights behind as it goes through. Okay, I'm just using these colours because I like them when they're blended together, but you can use lots of different colours on this. You can even stencil on top of it. I haven't got the one I stenciled on top, but you can get lots of different effects. So that's our first colour there. Okay, let me just clean my knife. Okay, I'm going to go on because I want the colours to mix. I'm not drying this bit in between. Then I'm going to go into my duck egg blue or my mould green. Okay. Again, I'm only taking little bits at a time, and I'm coming down over areas that I've already done as well. Okay, so don't be afraid to go over what you've already done, because then we start blending the colours together and we create a third, you know, sort of colour. So we're adding these layers on. But when you see the finished bit, it does look really, it's a really nice effect. So again, I'm coming down, I want to add some of that colour over the top, okay? Because you can really, really build up these layers. I'm going to do a thin layer for you. I did try and find, I think it must be up in the loft, I did try and find the one I did, and it had lots and lots of layers on it, and it looks superb when it's done, it really does. So again, just dragging down some of those, that layer there. So we're building those layers up. I don't know if you can see, we've actually got risen texture on there. I'm hoping you can see that. But we're still not shade, no, we're still not getting rid of the gold behind. We're still adding that on. So what I might do is add in a little bit of the white as a layer. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe my knife now. So I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of the white, and I'm just going to start adding in bits just here and there of the white. And we're going to use this colour on top as well. But I really wanted to add a little bit of lighter layers around these. Again, just what's on your knife until it's gone. Okay. We're going to add in even more to this now. Okay. Now I'm going to try and dry this now and get it to the stage. Do that a bit more. Dry enough to do the next part. Okay. So I am going to blast this with the hairdryer and then try and catch up if anyone's got any comments. Although I can't get my comments up on my screen. Oh, they've come up now. Hi Deborah, hi Alison. Funky Fossil Designs. Oh, I love that name. Welcome. Oh dear. Yeah, hi Alison, how are you? So we're just going to do that now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to blast that and see if we can get it dry enough. Okay, so bear with me for the hairdryer for a couple of minutes there. Again, this is just layer upon layer. dry enough now to do the next step. Now really you need to dry, make it dry, let it dry fully. Okay, you must let it dry fully. But I don't know if you can see now, it's actually starting, you can see here, it starts to crack with the crackle underneath. So we're getting those lovely little cracks here and there from the actual, and here in the crackle paste, that the crackle glaze we put on. So I think I can just about get away with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the tool I use already because it's pretty dry now, and I'm going to take the white this time. Okay, so I'm taking the white onto my sponge. I'm taking a lot of it off though, because what we want to do with this now is we want to kiss it. Okay, so we're going to do a lot of kissing now. So what we're trying to do now, this is going to tone it down, but it's also going to add another layer of texture, and we're going to catch all those risen areas. Okay, so I'm doing it gently. You're going to do it gently because you don't want to get the foam marks on it. So I'm just going to go over a couple of coats now, and as we add this, we're kissing those layers. Then we're going to tone that colour down, but each layer is has its job in this piece. You know, it's all about building those layers underneath to get that lovely depth. Now with these pastes, I would normally let them dry naturally. Okay, so although we get a nice texture doing it with the I do it with the hair dryer purposely on a cool setting so I don't lose the depth, but when you leave them to dry naturally, they will hold, they will stay risen better. But when you add heat to them, they will just slightly get a lower profile on them. Okay, so again, we're just going to be kissing around here. It changes the look of it, and then we're going to be doing some stenciling as well on top. So we need to do all this, but this is again how we can build up these layers, how we can pick up all this risen. Don't push too hard on your tool, okay, because you don't want to lose all the colour underneath. You just want to catch the texture, and we still want the colour, the underlying colour, to show through. Okay, so this is a real mixed media background, but there's so many things you can do with it. When you start playing with it and start playing with the colours, you know, and choosing your own colours, you can get amazing results. If you like your rusty, then use the rustique colour, the brown, and you can get these really, you know, if you like mechanicals and cogs and things like that, you can use that brown, and it looks so good when it's done. Okay, so I'm coming up here. Still going on here, not like we just do a little bit more, and then I'm going to use a stencil just for my own crafting stash. Okay, it's a stencil I have, and I thought we'll use that. But you can see how it's all picking up now. All that texture is coming up, but you can still see when I pick it up, you can still see the foil underneath. You can still see the blue underneath. You can still see the different tones of the greens. Okay, because we're not putting pressure on it. We're just catching that top layer of texture. Okay. And this is how, because you've still got little shiny areas from where we put our crackle on, and this is how we can make them more matte, is by adding this on top. I like a little bit of shine coming through, I don't mind that. Can you see? I will be using this again, we'll be going back over it after, but I want to put some darker edges on it. But can you see how that wonderful texture now is popping through? So all those raised areas are picking up that gorgeous texture, and all we're doing is kissing, and we all like a bit of kissing, don't we? Here we go. Can you see now? You've got all that textures being picked up by that. Hiya Beatrice. Hiya Judith. But look at that, and if I can say the layers on there, you can see the depth and the dimension on the layers there. So I would keep going a little bit more, but we're coming back to that anyway. I'm going to give that a really quick blast of the dry, and then I'm going to put stencil on. just want to make sure it's dry. So there we got our, so we've got our blue as a base, then we got our foiling glue, then we got our foil, then we got our crackle, and then we've got our different layers of our Rusty Patina, and then we've kissed it. What I'm going to do now though is I'm going to bring in a stencil, and a stencil for my own stash. I mean, whatever stencil you want to do. And I'm just going to start, I just wanted to add some detail. So I have got a stencil brush, and I've got some one of our very vintage home decor wax. This is black, so I'm just going to take a little bit because I want to stencil with it now. A little bit goes a long way with this, so I'm taking a lot of it off onto my mat already. Okay, and I'm just going to add some little bits of detail. Now I've taken a lot of mine off, so I'm going to swirl because I haven't got a lot of paint left on my brush. But this stuff just goes so this is a wax. This is a furniture quality wax. Great for adding detail, great for sealing if you want to seal it as well, but I like to use it onto all my craft projects because it's so easy and soft to work with. It really is. So can you see how now we've started to add our detail on? Okay, so let's have a look now. I've got this. This is what I did earlier on, so I'm going to do this. Just be careful if you've got fingers like this. When you're doing it, always go work with it, not into it. Okay. So we got a little bit of that going on then. And then I might add... I might add that. Have a look, so I might add something like that one. Yeah, I think that's cool. That's cute. So I might add it on three different heights. There we go. So I'm just adding detail stencils on now. Okay, and I'm just moving my stencil around to what I want it to be. Okay, so we're just adding these little details in there, but we haven't finished yet. We're going to do some around the outside as well. So you can keep adding on. I've actually got a die that I couldn't find. It's like one of those life reefs you throw into the sea. Like to sort of look really nice there. And I'll show you, gilding and things on. I think it look really nice. So I don't know. I might add something like that on there. I don't know. I'm just, there we go. A little bit more on my brush. Give you a little bit at a time with this, okay. Otherwise it just gets too, you have it so dark, you won't like it. There we go. So just, again, it's just playing here and there, adding on details. Hasn't got to be full detail, it can just be little bits, and it just, yeah, it just all adds to the layers, okay. There you go. Maybe put, yeah, might put something like that. I'm just playing now. There you go. I just like to play. So you've got that going on the outside. Okay. So I've got a little bit. I've got some. Just take a little bit of the wax around the outside now. Okay. A little bit more on my brush, but taking a lot of it off. Okay. So I'm just going to come around my edges. Again, you could add a wax onto this, or like a gold wax, or anything you want to. Well, I just wanted to darken the edges up a little bit, moving it around. There we go. I just love, oops, not quite dry yet, so I've got to be careful. Remember, you let yours dry before you do all this on it. I'm just trying to do it up for you. Okay, so can you see now? But I can go back in then with my tool, a little bit of the white again. If I want to, I can still pick out more detail, so I can actually add detail on top of that black now, and it makes it show up even more. Okay, so I'm just going to go back where that black is. I'm just very, very lightly going to pick that detail up again. Okay. Just very lightly, turn it round. So I'm very right-handed, has to be facing me. So I'm just, again, putting that in there, picking that detail up again. I'm only using the white. Okay, so you can go on and add more. And you can just keep building that detail up. I love this technique, it really does. Keep sticking give my brush to that. There we go. Yeah. See? So if I turn that round so you can see it, can you see the texture we've got there? The depth, we've got the layers. Look at the layers we have on here as well. So you've got a lovely depth, lovely texture. You've got a lovely shimmer in the background there. So, see, here's the one I've done earlier. It was dry. So again, slightly different look, but more or less the same. I like this one because there's more of the foil showing through. And I got a few more layers here. I like the way it's picked up the white there. So I prefer this one to this one, but I like both of them. But again, I can glaze that now. I can either glaze it or I can put a matte varnish on it, and I can actually drill a hole and I can put it on my wall. Or what I was going to do was drill the holes through there, make it as a journal, and put some watercolour paper in there. Okay. And if I show you my book I've done before. So this is the book I've done before. Okay. I'm hoping you can see it. Let me move that out of the way. So again, this is all layered up. So I've layered again. It's the same technique, just slightly different colours. We've layered all this technique up. So we've layered all up with our Rusty Patinas. We've used Rusty Patina onto a piece of glass here. We've used it onto a frame. This is the sort of thing I want to put on the front, but a rounder one. And I've just used another stencil I had, you know. But you can see here as well where the crackle has finished when it's completely dried. And it's got lovely lots of crackle where we've used our crackle glaze underneath it. And then there's a different version on the back here. Okay, but you can see my crackle. You can see how the crackle glaze really has picked up. You must let it dry naturally and you'll get that. Isn't that amazing? But again, we kissed it all. That is my my finished diary. It's an old diary now. But it's the same techniques. Exactly the same techniques to get the two different looks. Okay, but you can see it's all about the layer in there and different ways you do it. Okay. So yeah, so Rusty Patinas. I love Rusty Patina, I really do. But I love this. Oh, it's the right way in up here. I love the way you can hear it. You know, you can hear that texture. You can see that texture there as well. Okay, so it's short but sweet. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you love the texture and the glimmer and the shine from there. And I hope you'll give it a go with your paints and your gessos and things like that. But the Rusty Patinas are brilliant on here. I love them. So, oops, I'm coming back up. Not that you want to see me, but I am. There you go. So, I hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully, I'll be back next week. I know what we're going to do. I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm thinking I might want to work with my concrete paste and moss effect paint. I don't know yet. It really doesn't know because I'm up to my eyes in show prep at the moment. So yes, so I hope you enjoyed that anyway. That's the technique. I hope you have a fantastic. Is it 7 o'clock next? The next live. So is it Cal? I think it's Cal. I know so many lives, aren't there now? There's like this full schedule. It's brilliant. I tune in when I can. But it's just so nice that you support it and you enjoy it and that, and the admin works so hard to get everyone onto it for you as well. So it's it's something. It's just such an amazing place. So I will see you hopefully next week. I'll check the schedule. Keep an eye on the schedule. But I'm back off now to prep shows. I'm afraid I've got shows. I've got lots to do. I really have. So. Have a fantastic day. I mean, it's lovely and sunny here in South Wales. I hope it's sunny where you are. Have a fantastic day. Stay safe, stay well through the week, and I will see you very soon. But thanks for joining me. Okay then, bye.